I'm a part of a few D&D games, and there's one in particular that a lot of people seem to really take interest in, but when they ask me, "Hey Sunny, what's the plot?" I just kind of start to astral project as I try to recall with my one remaining brain cell what the has happened. I made this video in an attempt to chronicle my party's journey, both for my friends and for us, because, well, we all about have the same amount of brain cells left. Be warned though, things can get pretty gross. If you don't like body horror, this is your warning. So, this is about a one-shot that turned into a campaign made by my friend Runel, with the premise of the flesh biome from Starbound, but in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It is called Flesh and Bone. We begin with a cowboy tiefling sorcerer named Jackson walking along a road when a caravan approaches him and offers him a ride into town. Already on the caravan, there is an elderly halfling druid, Krika, a fancy tiefling bard, Antonello Condero, also known as Tony, a gnome ranger, Bob, and a tiefling monk rogue, Juan. We ride into town together, and once we get there, Krika goes to the store and the rest of us go to the inn to get a room for the evening, where we find out the townspeople are very weary of cultists. We then hit up the tavern to grab some drinks. Jackson overhears Bob and Juan talking and asks why they came to this town. "We're going north to clear out a temple for a job. We were hired by someone from the city. Y'all need any help?" "Can you help?" "Yup." "You sure you can shoot that thing?" "Yup." "Let's step outside." While Tony and Juan drink and Krika shops for meat, Bob and Jackson go outside to play a shooting game, in which they take turns taking shots at a bookstore sign, and ends in Jackson casting Firebolt as a subtle spell and making the townspeople freak out that there are cultists in town. As Bob runs away, we all have a good chuckle, but then suddenly the sky becomes dark, and a red beam of light, like a beacon, shoots up ominously in the distance. And then in a wave, monsters begin to pop out in the forms of weird flesh golems and fleshy butterflies that yell, "Submit!" and infernal, and stun people, and then turn them into the weird flesh golems. We had to quickly eliminate them all before one of us fell and got turned into them. It was horrible and terrifying. Once we had taken care of the golems and the flesh butterflies, we took a look at the red pillar of light in the sky. "What the is that?" "That's the temple. We need to go." "Well, I guess we should go help." So we all get on the caravan and go, and we're joined by a changeling fighter named Bako. It doesn't take long before we're ambushed by more flesh monsters, and then we come to a bridge where we're met by cultists. One of them nearly pushed Bako off the edge of the bridge. We somehow finish off this round of bad guys, and at this point we're just like, what the are these flesh monsters and these cultists even doing, man? This! We are about a day out from the temple at this point, and we all take turns driving the caravan so we can get a long rest. Eventually we come across some tents with cultists inside, as well as a large tower and a metal cage. Bob, for some goddamn reason, unbeknownst to me and the rest of the party, has barrels of explosive materials. So, naturally, we put them by the tents and we blow up the tents. We go up to the cage and we see a woman inside. "Let me out. They trapped me here." "Why are you in a cage?" "They put me in here because I'm the only person able to stop them from summoning their goddess of fertility." "Who?" "In common lore, she's referred to as the Black Maria, an inverted mockery of the real goddess of fertility." "Well, okay." And we were suspicious of her, but Bako, the only person who was able to discern anything with an insight check, didn't stop us as we melted the lock on the cage with a vial of acid. Bob has so much fucking shit. As Krika stayed outside to cook food and watch over our new friend with the other NPCs, the rest of us went into the tower. Inside we found a bunch of books scattered about, and Tony found some notes about summoning circles and materials. There was a locked door we were able to pick open, and we found a summoning circle with blood smears everywhere. We also found a case with magical daggers, which we took because who doesn't love free magic items? As we go to leave the tower, we are ambushed by, guess what? We take a short rest after taking care of the butterflies, and our new friend Alia heals us up a bit, and turns out she's a cleric. Nice! Or so we thought. We get closer and closer to the red beam of light. After sneaking through the camp of cultists, we arrive at the temple. We go inside, and there's more cultists, of course. How are we going to stop them? And that light. And as we ponder this, our new friend strolls up to the beam of light, and the cultists are like, "Stop her!" Krika tries to thorn whip her back, but misses. And by this point, we are way too late. There was a brilliant flash of light, and the floors and the walls became coated in this weird, pulsating flesh. And the exits were blocked by, you guessed it, flesh. And what lay before us now was this. "Thank you. You have restored me to my full glory. I am Helea. Black Maria. Bow down to me. Worship me. Or die." What? Is there perchance a third option? No? Alright then. We go into battle with Halea. She had some pretty nasty bite and wing attacks, and an awful vor attack in which she would swallow our friends and absorb our life force. And on top of all that, she was still very much a spellcaster. We also find out pretty quickly that Halea has resistance to most types of damage. And during the whole battle, we only found 2 types that were really effective. Remember those daggers we got earlier? Juan pulls out his dagger, and as he stabs Halea, it emits a bright light. As it turns out, she's vulnerable to radiant damage. So the melee fighters pull out their daggers, and Tony starts blasting her with Guiding Bolt every turn. Thanks to Chaos Bolt, we were able to figure out she is also not resistant to force damage. Since he took the feat Spell Sniper, Jackson was able to Eldritch Blast safely from behind the pillar. Once Halea realized the damage she had taken, she vored our f***ing friends and some cultists for health. Luckily, 2 things had happened. One of the cultists was a healer, and was able to provide some backup. Also, at this point, she was pretty bloodied. Tony, playing his harp with his leggy lifted, rolled a crit on his Guiding Bolt, and finished off Halea. Laying on the disintegrating flesh ground, Halea dissolves into a puddle of black goop. "You filthy, disgusting worms. I'll kill you." As the cultist bolted out of the temple light went out and the platform it came from cracked. We all went outside where the cultists were gathered, and Jackson wasted no time to chew them out. Y'all didn't even try to fight. You were all useless. Except you, of course. If y'all ever try this shit again, I'm coming for you. So y'all better promise now to never do it again. A few of them nod, a few of them begin to shake their head, and then all of them begin to shake their head. The group heads back into town, and it is wrecked. Fields burnt, buildings destroyed, and there's an angry mob that greets the group, and they want answers. Without missing a fucking beat, Jackson goes, "It was the cultists," and they all take their pitchforks and torches and start trekking towards the temple. We continue to drive along the road, stopping at Krika's house. We all say our goodbyes, and then we head towards the city so Bob and Juan can collect their reward. Then we head to a cheap tavern, chat a little, flirt a little, and as we celebrated our victory with our new friends. "And that is a quest for another party," said our DM. But that's not the way it played out, now is it? No, we're neck deep in this campaign right now, and in so much pain. So, my friend, my advice to you is buckle in and come along for the ride, because wow, are you in for a treat.